Both Pokemon and Nintendo are no stranger to leaks. Between Giga Leaks and Terra Leaks, or hardware leaks for the Switch 2, nothing seems to be kept secret, and I feel like Pokemon is even more susceptible. But recently, we got an insane leak about the future of the franchise, and I kind of wanted to talk about it since I have certainly had some mixed opinions on Pokemon over the past few years. So I kind of wanted to give my thoughts on it, and of course, this should go without saying, but this will contain spoilers for things that will probably be revealed later on down the line. So if you don't really want to see any of these leaks, I recommend not watching this video. And I'm also not going to show any screenshots or any of the things shown in the leaks, because I feel like there is a risk for like copyright, and I don't really condone these leaks happening as well, so I don't really want to give much attention to them. I just kind of want to give my thoughts on them without kind of like showing too much of them, if you know what I mean. But there were a few things that this leak showed off, and one of the most notable things was Gen 10. Originally, we knew from other leaks that Gen 10 was going to happen this year, but because Zaza was pushed forward to this year, Gen 10 was pushed to next year. We also know that this is being developed for the Switch 2, which I think is good, because the Switch 1 kind of seemed to hold back some things visually. I'm not saying that games like Scarlet and Violet couldn't have looked better on the Switch 1, because I feel like it absolutely could have looked a lot better if it was optimized better, but I feel like these games don't really have enough time to be optimized better visually, so I feel like a more powerful console is probably better in this case if they have a limited time to develop it. I mean, ideally, Game Freak should have more time to develop these games, but I feel like a more powerful console is the absolute minimum of what they could have here for the development of the next generation. And another detail that we got is that the new region will be inspired by Southeast Asia, which is pretty interesting, as before we heard rumblings that it would be based on Greece. I could kind of understand how some things could have been mixed up since they're kind of both based on islands, but I do think Southeast Asia kind of makes a lot of sense and would be really cool as a new region. And apparently the new hook for this game is procedurally generated islands with kind of like forests and oceans kind of like changing as you kind of travel to different islands. And they're also going to do like some interesting things with like the legendaries as well, kind of, I guess, kind of building off of what they did in Scarlet and Violet as well. And apparently there will be like more Pokemon that are like fighting as well. So they're kind of incorporating like the Pokemon more into like the traversal of the environment as well. And then there's also apparently like elements of survival as well. So it does look pretty interesting. And we also got like a screenshot, which I said before that I'm not going to show, but it does look pretty interesting. It does look visually better than like what we've seen before. Or I guess like one is like the target of what they're trying to get it to look like, and then the other is like how they've actually kind of rendered it early in development. So, I mean, I'm hoping it looks as good as like the target graphics. So the idea is pretty interesting. I'm definitely intrigued by what they're doing here, and I am glad that they are trying new things with Pokemon rather than staying stagnant like they did several years ago. So that is interesting, but honestly, I'm still concerned. Most recent Pokemon games have not gotten enough development time. Even Pokemon Legends Zaza that got an extra year still ended up looking kind of rough. I'm not saying it looks bad, and I completely respect if you're excited about the game. I just think it could have used more development time. It definitely could have used some more time to cook there. So I am a little worried if this game is only getting about 3 to 4 years of development time. And we're also seeing that recent Pokemon games are getting fairly low budgets as well. Like, Zaza only got 13 million, which really isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things. Like, most other games releasing are getting significantly higher budgets. And I know that not every game needs a large budget, but if Pokemon games want to be larger scaled, I feel like they definitely need more resources put into them, especially if some of that money in the budget is being used towards advertising and not in the game itself. And we've seen with Gen 10, that is leaked to have a $20 million budget, so only somewhat more than Zaza. I mean, that is a decent chunk more, but I still feel like on the scale of what is being described and what we're seeing for Gen 10, I think 20 million is still kind of concerning, I would say. So while a lot of ideas in Gen 10 do look promising, I still kind of am concerned. But the next thing that we saw in the leaks is the fact that we're getting a new Pokemon Legends game in 2027. And it will be based on the Galar region, which I think is pretty interesting, as Sword and Shield isn't even 10 years old. I don't know if this is just the older Zoomer in me, but I think the Unova region would have been more deserved for a region in a Pokemon Legends game, since we really haven't gotten a lot out of that region lately. But I don't know. I do think Galar does make sense to a degree due to like all of the criticism that Pokemon Sword and Shield got. Like maybe this is like their second chance, kind of like bringing the ideas that the Galar region had into like another game. So I can kind of understand the thought process behind that a little bit. But this will likely release later than 2027. I'm thinking 2028 at the earliest, considering the fact that Gen 10 is likely releasing next year. So we'll have to see. Hopefully it does get enough development time, but the idea, like Gen 10, is intriguing. But the final thing that got leaked is the craziest thing, since apparently they are doing a multi-region remake. And this would include, like, all of the regions kind of in between Hoenn and Sinnoh, like, all of the regions that are kind of based on different regions of Japan. So, like, the first 4 generations, like, the regions in those games, that would be absolutely insane. Now, this is a very early concept. We really don't know if this is going to happen at all yet. There are leaks of it, so they are having plans of kind of making this into an actual game, but we don't really know for sure if this is going to be a fully feasible project that they'll do. And this will definitely release later than like 2028. I'm thinking this is probably going to be like 2030 at the earliest. But the idea is pretty interesting. As I said multiple times in this video before, if this gets enough development time, this could be an excellent idea. It could be like a huge open world area, kind of recreating a lot of the past regions. I mean, yeah, we have seen these regions many times before, but it would be really cool to see them all like recreated in one large area. Maybe they could even fill in the gaps and create even more like new areas as well. A very interesting idea, though if they end up doing this, I hope it is pulled off well in execution. I feel like it could be like a massive game, so it is a pretty cool idea. We'll just have to see. It does seem like they are getting pretty ambitious, so I do hope they will like increase their budget and development time for some of these projects, since it does seem like they want to do quite a lot with the franchise going forward. But yeah, it's interesting, but just a little concerning based on what we've seen in the past. But anyways, let me know what you think down in the comments. And anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. And make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!